Welcome to Rom Wills Money Matters. Learn from your business victories. Learn from your victories. Now, I talked about streamlining your business, not making your business too complicated, and learning from your mistakes, but also learn from your victories. Don't just look at it like, oh, I made some money, I got a customer, I sold a product. Don't look at it like that. Look at, all right, who did I sell it to? Who did I provide this service for? What can I do better? What did I do to get the sale? Because that's the bottom line in business, making the money. That's the bottom line. You're not just doing it just for a hobby or something. At least I hope that you're not. Even if it's a part-time business, because, your full-time job provides for everything. Take it seriously. But then learn from your victories. And your victories is whenever you make a sale, whenever you make a connection to make even more sales. What did you do to make money? I'll use the example, like I always talk about vending. And one of the things I found with vending was I learned how I sold products better. One of the things I learned, and this is for anybody who wants to vend, I never just sat down. I've seen a lot of vendors, they'll just sit at their tables and stuff, just like, only time I sat down is if I was eating. And that's usually when somebody will bother me. Seriously, that's the only time I would sit down. Other than that, either I'm eating or I'm signing a book. But it was extremely, extremely rare that I would just sit there. I usually be standing. I was like, hey, come over, check it out. See, I learned, okay, what can I do to get people to my table? That's when I would get the victory. I was like, oh, more people come when I'm standing than when I'm sitting. Oh, stand up. Dress a certain way. Made sure, my style was on point, to draw them over. And, and even just reach out to them. Say, hey, come check this out. Boom. And yeah, there were some people who say, well, that's okay. It's like, okay, have a good day. One of the things I learned was, especially vending, was keep a great attitude. Don't be like, oh, well, yeah, you gone or looking sad, anything. Kept that smile on my face, right? That was something. Selling books like nationally. Like one of the things I learned was, like my book, Nice Guys and Players. That's the base of everything I've done. That was my first really successful book. It's an international bestseller. I lost count of how many copies I've sold across the planet. No, I've actually lost count. And one of the things I learned from that was, okay, I need to tap into a community of people. See, that's why, and I've talked about communities at first. That's when I really learned about demographics. So the books would sell to the primarily men who were looking how to get women. So I said, okay, let me be here. Let me advertise. Well, I didn't really advertise it. What I would do, I'd get on some message board and talk about it. Like, hey, this guy Rom Wills. But that was a learning experience too. And then it got to the point is people were talking about it themselves. They were advertising for me. But that was a learning experience. And that might work for you. For somebody else, they might have to say, hold up, all right, I need to advertise it. I need to advertise it like on web pages, social media that will touch this group. Or I need to talk about it on this page, like maybe talk to the owner of the page and say, hey, can I talk about my book? Or can I put an advertisement here? Something like that. You learn from your victories. Okay, what is it that's putting money in your pocket? One of the things that's putting money in my pocket right now is just my name. My name is my brand. My name is my brand. So whether people talk about me good or bad, people say, hey, who's Rom Wills? Boom. But that's from the business victory. You got to learn that. You got to figure out, okay, well, basically it comes down to what works for you, what doesn't. And you have to figure that out. Like every single sale, whether you're selling a product or a service, because ultimately when you're talking about business, it is about sales. It's just a matter of what you're doing, whether you're providing them a product or a service. What was it that got you over? What was it that were buying, made you buy the stuff? In fact, some businesses, they will actually give like their customers a survey. Say, hey, can you fill out a quick survey? But they learn from it. It's like, oh, the survey said these guys, the customer, they picked it up because they heard word of mouth. I was like, oh, okay. Or they saw an advertisement there. They'll learn from it and then keep going. Because once you get once you get one sale, it's like, okay, what was this person? But then the other person might be different. And then a third person might be different. So, for so on. But what do they have in common? Like if you're selling a type of food, okay, who's eating this type of food? Like in my last episode, I used the example of a vegan restaurant. All right, they need to say, okay, what's getting people in here to eat? All right, how am I advertising? What I got to do? It could be word of mouth. It's like, hey, why don't you tell some friends about it? Yeah, it could be seriously. Word of mouth is just it's just as valid as anything else. Because when you're advertising, it's all the same. You're just trying to get people to find your business. Okay, you've made some money. What do you need to do to get that person to come back? That's something too. It's like, okay, you got repeat customers. What is it about? Oh, maybe you're selling some type of food. Oh, they seem to like this type of pie. Okay. I remember back in the 90s, I had this pamphlet. It was called Finding a Good Man. Because 90s, that was a big time for anything relationship-wise, especially catered to women. So I was going to get my cut. And this actually took me a long way. And I had this pamphlet. It was only really 11 pages, 12 pages. So, the print count would be even and everything. And I was making them myself. But I noticed I would have different color paper as the cover. And I noticed one thing. They would buy the red quicker than anything. They would pick it up. If they had a choice of which color they would pick up, they'd pick up the red. So that's why if you look at my main book, Nice Guys and Players, and also Sexual Chemistry, it got red in the letters. Now some of them are more books after that don't. But my main selling one had red, so that's why. If you look at when I flash the titles on my different videos, they are always in red. That was something I learned. People pick up on that. They fired up by that. Like you pay attention to every little thing. What gets the most attention? Why are people picking up your product or using your service? What is it that you're doing? Like whatever victory, I don't care what it is, how small, how much money you make, you got to look at that and analyze that and say, okay, they wanted this or this person wanted this, It's like how even if you have a brick and mortar store, let's say you have a brick and mortar store selling clothes. All right, how are people buying? How is it set up that people are buying stuff? And you probably have to shift that around a little bit. If you're not getting the sales, it's like, well, hold up. People buy it more when the stuff is up front, or they buy it more when they see it on a mannequin or something. Whatever your business is, you got to learn from whatever victory. You got to figure, okay, because that's the best way to learn. What did the customers buy? What did they pick up? All right. So I want y'all to think about that. All right. So hey, look, y'all have a great 4th, and you have a great weekend. All right. And I get back with y'all. Peace. Well, I forgot this. I was about to forget what I was going to say. Let's go make that money.